Hi, this is Andreas from anythingbutiPod.com. With me today I have a Viliv S5. It looks like a normal media player, maybe a bit big, but basically the same size as something like the Arcos 5. But this is actually a PC, or it has a Intel Atom C520 CPU, 1.33 GHz. It has a Intel GMA 500 graphics card, 1 GB of RAM, and it runs Windows, in this case Windows 7. So as you can see, it's very small for something with specs like that. You can find the similar specs on netbooks, which are substantially bigger, of course. So the size and form factor of this thing makes it a very good PMP as well. It also says on the front, Ultra PC PMP. So basically you have a PC and a media player all in one package. So as you can see on the back here, you have the battery, which is good for 5 to 6 hours depending on how much you use Wi-Fi, screen brightness and so on. You can buy spare batteries for about $50, which makes this a really good device for traveling, since you can buy spare batteries pretty cheap. On the front here you have some buttons. This is a 4-way D-pad that you can also turn into a mouse pointer. You have a menu button which brings up the start menu, OK and C buttons, which is the left and right mouse key, and a shortcut button which is normally used for bringing up the on-screen keyboard. On the side here you have a port that you can open to access a USB port, as well as a proprietary screen connector thingy that you can buy cables to connect VGA screens and also connect to a TV via component cable. You also have a mini USB connector for connecting to a PC and using that PC as a host, so you can connect it just like any other media player. However, that feature is it doesn't work very well, because you basically need to install something on both the Viliv and the PC, and that software doesn't seem to be included when you buy it. There's also no cable, although it's just a standard mini USB cable. So anyways, on the top here you have the volume keys and the 3.5mm headphone port, as well as a heating vent. This is a completely fanless device, so there's no fans inside it. It might get hot sometimes, but hopefully it won't catch fire. You also have 2 of the vents down here. So on the other side you have the on-off switch, as well as the lock for the battery. This is just like a standard power switch on a PC, so it will turn it on and also put it into sleep if you configure the on-off button to work that way. So I'm going to just turn on the screen right now. Right now it's actually in a mode where the screen is off, but it's not in sleep or anything, so there we go. I need to find some stylus. This device is running Windows 7 Starter, which means that you actually can't change the wallpaper. That's more or less the only feature worth having in Home Premium compared to Starter. As far as I'm concerned, there are some features that are limited in Starter as well, but nothing I'm ever going to use. So I'm going to show you the video feature first. The GMA 500 graphics card is kind of special in that it's basically useless for gaming and anything like that, but it supports hardware decoding of H.264 video, which means that if you use the correct software and operating system, you will be able to play back both 720p and 1080p video without any issues. I'm going to open a 720p video file right now so you can see how it plays back. Media Player Classic Home Cinema is one of the applications that supports hardware decoding straight out of the box, so installing it is the easiest way to get it working.
Dr. Reed, I know yoga is supposed to be good for pregnant women, but are you sure this is okay? It looks like that baby could squirt out any second. Lucy, I'm fine. Besides, I would never give birth under a tree. Although,
as you can see, it plays back just fine. I configured Media Player Classic to open in full screen, so it's more like a normal media player. You can actually get out of it. The interface isn't exactly made for using on such a small screen, so it will run into some issues here and there, but generally it works fine, at least if you use a stylus. The resolution of the screen is 1024 by 600, which is a lot of pixels per inch compared to something like, well, even the Arcos 5 is substantially lower resolution than this thing, even though the screen size is the same, 4.8 inch. So for music play, of course, both for music and video and everything, you have to choose your own software, because Viliv does include a media player with the device, but it's basically so useless that it just takes up space. So you have to choose your own software for playing back both videos and music. I'm just using Windows Media Player right now to play back music, because I also have Foobar through 2000 installed, but I don't listen to music that much on this device because of the battery life and everything, so it's just something, just so I have something that can play back music. As you can see, Windows Media Player isn't exactly made to be used on a device like this, because the buttons and everything are so small that you have to use a stylus to really operate it. So I tried running JRiver Media Center 14 on this thing, which has a theater mode that would have been perfect for a touch screen like this, but unfortunately the CPU just isn't fast enough to handle something like this, like that. So I'm guessing you can configure basically any themable media player to work, have bigger buttons and everything, but I don't really mind using a stylus, because you basically have to use a stylus with the thing anyways. Viliv also includes something they called Cube UI, which is a very peculiar kind of overlay to Windows. It's their own interface that goes on top of all of this, but first of all, the resolution is all wrong, so it just looks like a blurry mess when you start it up. And second of all, it simply isn't, it's not that useful. You can put some shortcuts on this thing right here and just have quick access to applications, and there's also some settings for volume and Wi-Fi and everything, but basically you're much better off using either the default Windows method for all of that, or you can try something like Rocket Dock, which is a much better way of having bigger shortcuts on the desktop. Finally, I'm just gonna show you, I'm running out of time, so I'm just gonna show you one application I really like on this device. It's Senior Reader, which lets you read and buy magazines online. The magazines are just the same as what you would buy in a newsstand, but you get them in digital format. So I'm just gonna see if I can load, if the application didn't just hang on me, which it did. There we go. I'm going to use the shortcut to flip the screen.